Hilarious.
The broadcast is live. Jeffrey, you're up.
All right, everybody, welcome. We're going to start with a quick video tonight.
It's going to be nice. Sit down, hold on. We're going. Here we go. And you guys could talk if you like. It's a little video. Quick little video. Oh, Selkirk paddle. I like it already. I like this video.
Yeah. These are a lot of the locals actually in Costa Rica.
That's great.
So, yeah. He's a DJ. And a lot of the locals are expats from the U.S. and a lot of French, Italian, Argentinian.
Okay.
Yeah.
It's a nice little piece.
Smashing that ball. Those kids.
Saw that? Was that Mani just jumped out like 4 feet in the air to crush that ball?
Yeah, right.
No, that was not Mani.
Yeah, I'm not.
Okay, you could have said great shot. No one would have known.
Right.
Yeah, exactly. he could have to take the credit.
All right. Top-notch experiences. Okay. Puravida. And here we are.
All right, everybody, we're
and the
back.
show begins.
Thanks so much for joining us tonight, Coach. Welcome back.
Yes, great to have you.
And tonight we have two great guests, and they're going to explain a little bit about the video that we just saw.
Yes.
But we have Mani, Barajas, Alexander, and
Nice.
Yeah, you got it.
Thank you. And also with him is Cindy, and we're excited to have you both.
Thank you so much for having us.
We're excited to be here.
So let's start with Coach Mike's favorite question. How did pickleball find you?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, we were talking about that. We've been talking about this more and more and how just addicted we are to the sport now. But it actually, we really, pickleball found us actually in Costa Rica when we bought our property and the business, the Puravida House, which we operate pickleball vacations and other types of private high-end experiences. And yeah, the previous owners were starting to do pickleball trips. They were heavily focused on tennis. And then we hosted our first group. We inherited this group, and the first guy we met was Brian Ashworth, which
what a fun guy! Holy smokes!
Exactly.
And that was our first pickleball guest, and we
we didn't know who he was. We were like, this guy's got a beard.
Because we inherited that one from the past owner. So it's like, oh, it's a pickleball tree. We were just starting to realize what pickleball was. And this guy showed up, and I'm like, oh, and people is coming for this guy. So it's like a big deal. Yes. But he was so nice and so casual about it. But that group that we host, that they really make an impact on us. Yeah. They actually at the end of the week, they all cried and made us cry. They gave us teachers that say if it wasn't for pickleball, I wouldn't met you and you and you and you.
Oh, what a great shirt!
Oh, these people really have a connection, and they just met here, you know. Right. So this sport has something beautiful that is that it brings people together. So that is when for example, I started first getting the bug of pickleball. I was like, oh, I like this because not all the sports are as inclusive as pickleball is. Yeah. You know, more like tennis, for example, is kind of oh, high-end, and then people is not as nice, or so many sports. I'm sorry to say that in this show, but it's the truth.
So how many years ago would that have been?
A couple years ago, actually.
Just a couple years.
It's going to be 3 years this year.
Oh, yeah, 3 years, yep.
It's going to be 3 years this year.
Yeah.
So for you two guys, like all of our guests so far, pickleball has become much more than just a sport for them. It's become part of their life. It has changed their life. Would that be fair to say to you guys?
Sure.
It certainly has. Okay.
It's a lifestyle, honestly, and
there you go.
It's healthy. It's healthy. It's active. It's fun. It's social. And
inclusive.
And it's community. You know, you meet so many people. There's so many people that we've met. So many amazing people that we've met through all of our pickleball vacations and trips, and then just playing recreationally and socially. It's awesome. I mean, I'm totally hooked. And in all fairness, I was a college Division I tennis player, kind of put the kibosh on pickleball. I was like, I'll do that in 20, 30, 40 years.
Right. When you're too
And
old,
that-
you'll play pickleball.
Yeah, I was like, that's not for me right now. I'm going to stick to tennis.
His mom tried to make him play a few years ago, and he was like, "No, mom, that is for old people."
Yeah.
Listen, a lot of people, Cindy, a lot of people say, oh, it's too slow. I don't like to play. I said,
Yeah.
are you playing with the wheelchair group? Who are you playing with? Because you know now that you're playing competitive, it's very, very fast.
I mean, that is the beauty about it. That
Right.
it can be slow or it can be as fast as you want it.
Correct.
So, like, that is why I say it's very inclusive game.
Yeah.
So I like it because all ages can be playing this game.
Yeah.
Yes, I agree.
Mm-hmm.
So Manny, so you just picked it up and you play at an advanced level. Are you playing it too, Cindy?
Yes, I am. Haven't you heard about me? I'm a pro.
I didn't hear that, but I'm sure we'll hear about it tonight. I'm excited about that.
He's the highest
Why not?
unheard of professional.
Why not?
I'm on the peak of my career.
Yeah.
She is a professional beginner.
Yeah.
Exactly.
She's the #1 ranked beginner in the world right now.
No, I do play, but I'm not as good as Mani.
No, she's
Not yet.
3-0. She's
Not yet.
working her way up. Yeah.
Okay.
Working her
Yeah.
way up.
But I love it, and it's very entertaining for me. But like, I get very stressed out at the competitive level,
Right.
and I just rather play recreational.
Good for you. Good for you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then I actually started off playing in the 4-0 division, and then I slowly worked my way up, and now I'm playing a lot of rec games with some of the top senior pros and,
Sure,
and
yeah.
names that you're probably familiar with. And,
Hey, you live in a great place, by the way.
yeah, so part of the year we're in Delray Beach in the Boca
Yeah.
area, and then the
Mhm.
other part of the year we're in Costa Rica. So Scott Golden and Mircha and Julie Johnson and JW, those they're all here, and it's just amazing to be able to play with them. And
It is
practice
amazing.
in a
They're
rec
your
game.
neighbors, right?
Right. Yeah.
Very
it's
fortunate.
Super fun. Yeah. very
So
fortunate.
how did this whole thing come about? Buying the house and I mean, how did you hear about it? I mean, what was the inspiration for buying the place?
Yeah. So actually, the inspiration came first from tennis because I had a previous business called Top Notch Tennis, and part of our business model was doing destination tennis experiences. And we happened to partner with our good friends and former owners of the Puravida House to do these tennis vacations. And then I said, wow, there's something to this. I really enjoy it. I want to do more of this. And then we realized, and I always told my buddy Jorge and Stephanie that if they were ever interested in selling their business and the property, I'd be very interested. And then, one thing led to the next, and they said, hey, we're getting into real estate development and building, and we want to sell our property and business. Are you interested? We're doing these new pickleball vacations that seem to be getting some traction. It's growing. And so that's when we said, let's go for it. So I put everything on the line at the time with what I had, and I guess made a dream come true. So it's definitely one of the hardest transitions of life, for sure, like moving to a new country, but 100% worth it. And we're just having a blast doing it right now.
That's fantastic. So if someone decided to go on one of these trips, it sounds like you do like sort of private trips, and then you do some trips with coaches and pickleball pros. Is that how it works?
Yeah, so we partner with a lot of pros and anybody that essentially wants to host their own destination tennis experience, pickleball experience. So, and then we also just have people that are in communities that reach out and say, hey, we've got a group of 16 or a group of 10 that want to come. And then we set them up in our properties. Our main property is the Puravida House, but we have several other villas, high-end luxury villas inside this gated 5-star beach resort. And so, we leverage all of the amenities around us and our local relationships with different business owners and tour operators and package everything together. So we've got a fantastic private chef as well.
And then we have a pro because the resort pro, he's really good too, Sylvain.
Yeah.
He's French.
Mhm.
So when these groups reach out to us and they don't have a pro, they will do it with the pro at the resort that he's really good
Right.
too.
Tennis pro, correct?
No, he's a tennis
pickleball-
and pickleball pro.
pickleball.
He's a
Mhm.
solid
Okay.
5-0 player.
Yeah.
And then
Beautiful.
we've had pros. Brian Ashworth's coming back next year with his buddy, Kyle Yates. A lot of people know that name.
Yeah.
So, and Kyle's been with us 2 times now, and he's coming back 3 times next year with his buddy Brian Ashworth. We actually have the Newmans coming in next December, and a few other pros that we're working to partner with right now.
Right.
And then we do a lot of, it's a very private, intimate experience. You're not going to get 30, 40, 50 people. This is something that's very boutique, intimate, personalized, and custom to what the group wants. We have concierge services. So whatever the group needs, they get. So it's very personalized.
And for some of the viewers, I want to let you know that I will see it myself personally this coming weekend, and I will want Manny to come on. Mani. Hey, I meant to ask you, Mani.
Perfect. I
meant to ask you, Mani. How many different names have you been called other than, I know it's Manuel, but how bad has Mani been killed? Come on, tell us.
Oh, it's, what? Sometimes I can't sleep at night, Mike. It's crazy.
It's hurtful, right? It's hurtful.
One too many Mannies or Monties, I can't sleep.
So Monty,
So I
Monty's
get Monty,
a big one?
like the full Monty, and then Manny, right? Manny's the most common because it's short for Manuel, and then my last name has been butchered, the Barajas. I went to school in a very rural part of Virginia for college, and they butchered my name in every class, doing roll call, and they said, "Is there a Manny Barajas Alexander?" And I'm like, "Oh my God!" I'm like, "That's me."
Yeah, that's me.
I'm like, nailed it.
All right, so if that's the worst thing that you have to deal with, things are good.
Life is great. No complaints.
Is good.
So many blessings. We're very happy. Yeah.
Good. Well, just to finish off, this weekend I will go there for a couple of days and I will see it myself because I too have a lot of couples that have asked me about going, and I felt what better way to try on a pair of shoes? You have to try them on, right? You're not going to say, "Hey, what size are you?" Try 'em on.
Yeah.
So I'm going over there, and I'm very, very excited because we're expecting to have superb weather.
Yeah.
And at this point in time, I do know other people that have been there, and they were screaming, "Mike, we can't wait to go back."
Yeah.
We have nothing but good information so far.
Yeah. No, and everything we do is, it's like I said, it's very customized. And one of the things that our guests really enjoy about our trips and vacations is that it's a healthy balance between getting their pickleball fix in for 3 hours, usually in the morning, part instruction and part open play. And then the rest of the day, they're doing excursions, they're hanging out with the locals, they're experiencing local food, adventure, multiple beaches. So it's a very balanced. It's not super hardcore pickleball like all day. You get your fix in.
It's not a boot camp.
It's not a boot camp.
Right.
Exactly.
So I'm
just
glad
setting
you mentioned that.
It's not a boot camp, but you're going to get, 15 to 20 hours a week of pickleball, so, and you're going to get to work with some quality pros. And then we also like to set up, play with the local opportunities. So we set up, round robin socials. We'll do a tournament. So we just try to incorporate the local experience in addition to pickleball.
How close are the courts to your property?
So that's a fun one because they're actually, so within the resort, they're about a 7-minute golf cart ride away from the property. And our guests love the golf carts because they get to see wildlife along the way. So they're seeing howler monkeys hanging on the trees. They're seeing horse and cows and all these tropical birds like scarlet macaws. And so it becomes part of the experience.
Nice.
So the golf carts, we have designated golf carts that everybody shares throughout the week to get around to the beach club. We also have full access to the JW Marriott as well, and all the different beaches that are within the resort area.
That's beautiful. I'm cutting Jeff off because Jeff has a whole list of questions. So Jeff, you're back up.
Oh no, you're fine. I was just thinking about that. What is you talk about? Mingling with the locals. What is the pickleball scene in general in Costa Rica?
It's growing, and honestly, it's not. We're starting to get to the point where, just like in the U.S., there's communities that the demand for pickleball courts and facilities is not there, and so 15 Love is the local tennis club, but they're starting to offer pickleball. And so they'll do, 3 days a week. They'll have round robin socials. They're starting to have classes. So it's been nice to see. And we're, thankfully very blessed to be a big part of that. And we get to be the middleman essentially between connecting our guests that are majority from the U.S. to the locals.
And the growing of the sport too.
Yeah.
Because I mean, it's not as popular as here, for example, like in. But then once pickleball, once you get the bug of pickleball, it's like the voice runs so fast. So now those socials in the local club, like they're very packed. And I remember when we just started going to those socials, there were like 4 people there. Now it's like a bunch of people because people are starting to get like interested about the sport. So it's really nice to see that growing of the sport in Costa Rica.
Yeah. Highly addicting.
So what was your background prior to pickleball vacations?
So for me, I studied what I studied in university was social journalism. But then I did a specialization in marketing. So I went to work for hotel, actually, hospitality. And I was working in Colombia for a long time in hospitality, selling packages and offering vacations and this kind of stuff.
Oh, good.
So that is
and then before I had I mentioned earlier a previous business. It was a tennis program management. So I started it right out of college with one facility and contract, and we expanded it over about 8-9 years to 30 locations, and we brought tennis into recreational level tennis, nothing high performance, but we focused on the recreational player, juniors and adults. We did camps, and we essentially did the full program management aspect of running facilities. So, a facility might not have the budget to hire full-time salaried pros. So we would go in and say, hey, we'll bring our programming in, we'll hire site directors, head pros. And so we were just a turnkey service for these these private tennis clubs and schools.
Right, or you're the conduit between. You're doing almost the same thing that you were doing before, just for yourself now.
You know what?
Yeah.
So it's amazing, and it's we're just so thankful to be doing what we're doing, and a lot of our friends are like, man, you guys are living the dream, and we're like, yeah, we are, and we know, and we realize we're super blessed and thankful, and we're just making the most of the opportunities that have presented itself. Yeah.
So it sounds like you're both involved in running these trips. How often do they happen?
Well, I mean, they're getting more and more popular. I mean, we still do a lot of, everything we do is very intimate and private. So we do still a lot of tennis vacations. We'll do yoga retreats. We've partnered with a couple like life and wellness coaches that want to, they've got a popular following and they want to go with them to Costa Rica and learn about nutrition and mental health and yoga and all of that. And so we put together packages for them. But pickleball is really starting to, we're seeing, other companies are doing it as well. And so it's just, I think it's a beautiful thing, and people have more and more options to travel the world. So, but yeah, we're doing them, year round now, except for October and towards the end of September because it is kind of rainy. But our busy season when we do the most pickleball trips are November through April. Yeah.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
So you've talked a little bit about your facility. So how many pickleball courts do you have? And it sounds like you have amazing accommodations, and you're talking about a boutique with a smaller group than some of these schools would have, if you will. Yeah. So right now the resort, we've been trying to push to get them to get dedicated courts because there still aren't any dedicated courts in the country at the moment. But we're in a facility where they just resurfaced their 2 tennis courts that they have, and they put 4 dedicated lines. And like really, they're not dedicated nets, but they're as close to dedicated net. And you'll see it, Mike, when you come. They used to have, when like Brian Ashworth first came, the nets were not in good shape, and we just kept trying to push and work with the management to say, hey, we're bringing in lots of people. Let's step our game up, for them. And so we work with the resort community and the management team
to have access to the courts. And so there's 4 pickleball
so
courts. So that's why we like to do groups of 16.
Right. Sure.
And then if we need to line the other court, we can. But 16 is kind of our sweet spot. But most of our groups are between 8 and 16 people.
Okay, wonderful.
And usually couples or friends, because we do a lot of double occupancy trips.
Sure, and it makes it a lot easier too. So listen, while you guys are talking, there's a bunch of people that are typing in. This one gentleman must know you guys well. So I'm going to read you a little bit from Mr. Maxey, Romy Maxey.
Oh, yeah.
Must be a buddy of yours. So he said lots of things, but the one thing that I'm going to pull off, he said, Mani only became relevant when he met Sindy.
Yeah, 100% right. That's 100% true.
Yeah.
I figured he knows you and I could say it.
We love
Okay,
Romy.
good.
Yeah, he hosted 2 groups last this year.
Yeah,
and he's bringing another group at the end of this year, and he's bringing another group in January.
Yeah.
He's in Houston, right?
Yeah, Houston, Texas, and he's got in that area, and he's building a fantastic.
Well, I want to tell you guys something. I did event planning for 6 years, and the truth be told, it was never as much of the destination as it was the people running the event.
Oh, for
So
sure.
the thing is, they'll love you guys, and the destination becomes an addendum, because could people do a similar type of getaway at another location? The answer is yes.
Absolutely.
But will they have as good of a time? Will they enjoy it more? Will they want to come back? I'll find out for myself.
There you go. Yeah, you got to come back and report.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
So you talked about a dedicated chef. Tell us about the meals. If someone goes, are they going to be well fed?
Now you're talking my language. There you go.
Yeah.
Our chef is actually like, people love her. They wanna bring her back to the U.S.
Yeah.
Every guest is like, "Oh, can we take Mita with us?" We call her Mita.
Yeah.
Pita.
Mita, yeah. Well, you will find out for yourself. We won't spoil it for you. But I'm just telling you, she's awesome.
Yeah. But no, she cooks very clean, healthy. We've learned that a lot of our groups have they like to eat clean and healthy, and they have some dietary restrictions like gluten-free, or they may be vegan or pescatarian. So we're learning about all these diets,
Right.
and so she's very flexible with that. And typically 2 meals a day, breakfast and dinner, are included in what we offer with our pickleball vacations. And so those times are worked around strategically so that it's convenient for them in the mornings. But she's she's from Venezuela, but then also spent a lot of time in Colombia. And she does, her specialty is seafood, very fresh. And then she also has a little, obviously Latin flair. So she blends a lot of the local cuisine of Costa Rica, like typical casados, like fish, rice, beans, salads, plantains. And then she'll also mix in some Venezuelan and Colombian dishes as well. Yeah.
Beautiful, beautiful.
So it's
That's
it's nice. Very yummy.
A lot of the people, like you said, Mani, a lot of the people that come there, they ask about BEOs. You know, guys, what BEOs are, right? Banquet event orders that people order in advance to say, hey, I have this type of disease. I can't eat this food.
Yeah.
So could someone coming on a trip to you say, hey, by the way, I can't eat these kind of foods. Can you guys do this? Could you be flexible for them?
Yeah, usually we send an email prior, like 2 weeks prior to the arrival. And then we ask them if they have any dietary restrictions or allergies, because there are allergies, like
there you go.
That is dangerous if someone has an allergy and then all of a sudden they have something on their meal that is going to make them sick. So we don't want that, because that is part of the experience. So we usually ask them about that and take notes and send to the chef, and the chef is very good at keeping track of the things and customizing the meal for that people.
Beautiful. Good information.
Yeah.
So how are you going to be able to expand this? You're going to probably get to a point where, you're full. Is there another step, beyond where you are, as the popularity grows and you have more demand?
Yeah, I mean, we're looking at some options right now. we've started building relationship. We have really good relationship with other owners of properties that, we're working out, some stuff with them so that we can host. If Puravida House, for example, and our sister property is already booked, then we have another sister property in partnership with, friends that also own properties. And so we're able to now accommodate, 2 pickleball groups at the same time. But then the challenge is the 4 pickleball courts, right? And so that's where, in a sense, where the facilities, perfect example, the facilities are maybe not up to, the supply demand. We have a lot of demand, for our private groups, but not necessarily the facilities. So we've got some things we're working on for sure in the future that we can definitely share at a later point. So
good.
Yeah.
The old saying, Mani, people never plan to fail, they fail to plan.
Absolutely.
And it's nice, you guys are planning ahead in advance because it makes a difference. We all have challenges. Look what's happening in our world right now.
I know.
Yeah.
You have to be able to do that.
Well, I'll tell you what, last year was a heck of a challenge for us. Probably the biggest challenge. I mean, international travel, hospitality. I mean, that was one of the first things that went. And I mean, literally overnight, our business was shut down. I mean, we went from being fully booked out January through March, or, and then all of a sudden everyone's canceling, requesting refunds or credits for the future. And it was just, we weren't, honestly, we weren't even sure if we were going to, make it through. Like, unfortunately, a lot of other businesses weren't fortunate enough to make it out. But that's why we're just super thankful and blessed just to still be around and facilitating these cool experiences in Costa Rica.
Good.
Yeah.
Very cool. So, let's look at pickleball as a whole. I know it's relatively new to you, and you grew up in the tennis world, but where do you see pickleball headed as far as popularity and picking up bigger sponsors and international competition, Olympics? There was an interesting post by a pro today, and I'll just get into this quick, and I'll let you answer.
Nunnery, right?
Yeah,
I saw that.
I mean, it actually, I responded to him, and then I thought of a friend of mine who's like on a friend's son who is, in the golf world, but he's not made it to PGA. So he has to that fight every week, pays $1,000 to get into a golf tournament, fights to make the cut and tries to get a check. So, what are your thoughts on all that?
Oh man, I think it's a great question. I mean, I still think, pickleball is no longer in its infancy. I mean, obviously the sport and game has been around for 1965, right? So Bainbridge, I know that from Scott Golden. Anyway, so I think that Olympics are definitely going to happen. I think I would give it if I were a betting man on this, I would say 8 years. If not, an aggressive bet would be the next Olympics. Just the way that pickleball is growing, I think COVID actually has helped kind of grow the sport at a faster rate. Outdoors, considered safe for sure. So I think it'll definitely be an Olympic sport at some point. I think that I don't know. I know the APP, PPA. I just think that there's, maybe there's a way they can come together. I don't know, but I just think that there's a lot of pros that are conflicted, trying to make a living and getting sponsors. And now they've got all these, 2 different tours. And, you look at tennis, it's still almost like the Wild Wild West in some aspects of the industry. And I think that the tournaments also, there's tournaments all over the place, which clearly shows there's a demand for people competing and also socializing at these tournaments, which I think is fantastic. But I think it's just going to get tougher and tougher unless there's bigger money that comes in and brings bigger sponsors and is able to pay out more to a deeper part of the field. So it's not just the medalists or the top 4, a lot of these tournaments, you're spending a good amount of money, like, Nunnery's post was saying, and I think it's a very valid point. And at what point do you say enough is enough? I can't, break my, I got kids to pay for, I got education, I have other life expenses. So unfortunately, I think if there's not a solution to a lower barrier to entry for some of these higher level tournaments, you might not get the opportunity to see some of these really athletic, former D1, former top tennis pros maybe coming in and jumping the level up, all around in pickleball. So, but I think it's exciting. I think it's going to continue to grow. I think more and more tennis courts are going to continue to be converted. I
course.
think counties and facilities are seeing the value of pickleball and how it brings community together. I think it's also a great way for cities to monetize the game as well, but also bring the community together. So I think it's exciting. I think it's just going to continue to grow and be honestly bigger than tennis at some point. I thought those words would never come out of my mouth being a former tennis guy. And I'm a perfect example. I don't really play tennis anymore. I don't really have the desire. And I'm playing tennis or pickleball like 5 days a week now. I have to like force myself to take days off. So, yeah.
I love it. That's a great answer. I like that.
Mm-hmm.
So if somebody wants to book a trip, get more information, what's the best way to do that?
Direct email, or I can even give my personal personal number. You can we're very open and warm that way. So if they want to text me directly, it's 703-217-2924.
Say it again. Say it again.
703-217-2924. So we're very accessible. We're not a huge corporation. So you can just text me and or just, add me on Facebook, at Sindy on Facebook, and reach out, direct message. Instagram is another way to find us at the Puravida House. And then our website, thepuravidahouse.com, or email info@thepuravidahouse.com.
So we've posted the little flyer that had you guys on your information. It'll go on again. It'll be as much social media as we can give it. And we all know a lot of people that are very well known in social media, so I think it'll be out there more. What'll happen for you if in the next 4 months you're overloaded? You have more than you can handle. Do you get help?
Absolutely. I mean, if we're too busy and we can partner up, and I mean, we're very open to partnering as well and to make the game grow. So if we can find creative partnerships to accommodate the demand, we'll absolutely find a way. So, and we have a couple tricks up our sleeve that we're working on that will allow us to have larger groups if that's also an option or that people are looking for. Yeah.
So where you guys are, the town is Tamarindo.
So we're about 20 minutes from there. Tamarindo. Yeah. We'll take you there. Yeah. We'll take you to the local club there. We'll have some micheladas, a nice beer. Romy knows about the micheladas. I introduced him to that. So I'll introduce you as well. We try to share all of our guests the michelada experience.
Chili
and the chili wados. Yeah. So
the reason why I was telling people is because a lot of people know, I know where Costa Rica is, but it's a pretty good sized country. So would it be fair to say San Jose is down here and you guys are up here?
Yeah, it's the Pacific Northwest.
By the Pacific Northwest section of it. And we're flying into an airport that people are telling me, like, Michael, why would you be going to Liberia at this time? Are you crazy? Why are you going to Liberia? I go, no. It's the name of the airport that's closest to Tamarindo, because I found out San Jose is about a 5-hour drive.
Exactly.
Which would be the major airport there. Is that correct?
That's correct.
Yeah.
Okay.
They're actually changing the name of the airport soon.
Yeah, to Guanacaste.
Because
that's the region or province. So there's 7 provinces in Costa Rica.
Okay.
And so we're in the Guanacaste. We have, if you want an amazing beach experience with nature, that's where you come. If you want only nature and kind of jungle, cloud forest, and no beach, then you go inland more to like Ardenal and other places. But we have the nicest beaches, and we have 3 beaches within our resort area. So the name of our resort, it's Hacienda Pinilla Beach and Golf Resort. So that's where our property is, and it's a private gated 5-star beach resort community.
Okay, very nice. I didn't know that to tell folks. That's good to know.
Yeah. So
are you going to take the turbo over, Mike?
No, we need a little bit more than a helicopter. Yeah.
I'm curious. I'm very curious what you guys think of the future of the industry too. I mean, you guys have been in it much longer, so.
Listen, life's really sketchy right now. We don't know what's going on. All these new strands are happening. We know how it crushed the United States last year. We sure all can pray and hope that it's not going to happen again, but nobody really has a golden ball and shake it and say, okay, everything's going to be fine. Start planning ahead. You just don't know. Because you know how, like you just said, it devastated the transportation industry. It devastated the hospitality industry. It just went on and on and on. And a lot of the places you go to for services now, they're sorry, we're short staffed. It'll be 2-hour wait.
Yeah.
It's very common to hear that nowadays going to places.
Yeah, it's true.
And I know just recently I went to a few medical facilities and it's mandatory to wear the mask.
Yeah.
It's not optional like the stores are still, depending where you live, what state you live in, what city you live in, who your mayor is. It matters.
Yeah. That's true.
Well, Mani, I'm not sure Mike understood your question, but I see pickleball, you know, continuing to explode, and you know, I don't see any slowing down. I still think there are, you know, millions of people that don't even know what the sport is yet.
Yeah,
that's true.
And probably some of the best players to play it, you know, have not even picked up a pickleball at this point.
Yeah,
I agree with that.
Yeah, you guys think it's going to the Olympics in 4 years, 8 years, 12 years?
Well, we would love it to happen. It has to be in a lot more countries before that's even considered.
Yeah,
that's just one of there's a whole criteria, and that's just one of them. There's a certain number of countries it has to be in. And people scratch your head like, how did those other sports get in there? You know, you wonder.
That's what we were saying.
Right?
Because there's one sport that you are like scratching the floor. What is it called?
Curling.
And I'm like,
Curling.
Yeah, some of these sports we were watching the last Olympics, we were like, man, like if these can be sports, pickleball should definitely be in there. But
so imagine this, Cindy. Mani's going to be busy next weekend because we're going to curling competitions.
Yeah, in Costa Rica. Yeah. That'll be interesting. Yeah.
Yeah, sure. That is how you will call it.
Yeah.
Well, going to that airport, just for people that are local in Florida, Miami's definitely the place to start because there's the only place I found there's a direct flight from Miami to Liberia.
From Houston too.
So actually, so the big hubs right now in the U.S., if you're in Atlanta, Houston, Miami, and LA, and also New York. Those are like the 5 major. Oh, and Denver, Colorado, as well. So they all have direct flights into Costa Rica.
And Washington too.
And in Baltimore, right outside DC. Yeah.
And there's several airlines that go there.
Oh yeah. The most common we've seen are
Southwest,
Delta,
American,
United, and American.
Yeah. So how long is your flight, Mike?
Short.
3 hours, right?
Just because where I am, we're going to start in Orlando. If we would have had 20, we would have thought of just drive to Miami, leave the car in Miami, and then fly from there. But we're going to do Orlando, Miami, and maybe it's an hour and a little bit more. The whole flight's less than 3 hours.
Yeah, it's like 2 hours and a half.
Yeah,
right.
I think
2.5 hours total.
Yeah, it's not. Costa Rica's not as far as people think.
Right.
I mean, you're going to Houston, Texas, right, from the East Coast. That's Costa Rica, you know.
Yep, same time.
So, yeah.
And who knows? Listen, 2 weeks ago, there was no issues for us to fly to Costa Rica. We just had to, on the way back, get tested. And Mani's got that covered at his place. Someone comes right to his home. They test you at the home. Then you have whatever paperwork the airline requires to go back to get your flight back to Florida.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, we started doing that right away. And talk about thinking ahead, Mike. I mean, we anticipated that, you know, COVID testing was going to be a mandatory requirement at some point. And so we immediately started reaching out to our network in Costa Rica with the locals, trying to find the best doctors and nurses available that could administer the testing. And so we've got several different people that we work with based on availability. So then that way our guests don't have to waste a half a day or a full day sometimes trying to figure it out on their own. And it's literally quick in and out. I mean, it takes 30 minutes for a group of 8 to 15 people.
Tested, sure.
Yeah, and then they go on with their vacation.
Sure.
Yep. So.
Well, all of us would love pickleball to continue to explode and grow, and you watch all the new young kids coming, meeting the seasoned players. I mean, big upsets are happening now. So I think that you're right. It's going to continue to explode and grow. No one knows. And to finish with the airline, just yesterday we got an email from American telling us, we didn't have this 2 weeks ago, but 2 days ago now, we have to bring the card that shows that we've got our shots. Along with our passports.
Wow,
proof that you've gotten your shots. Now, I don't know what the other airlines are doing, maybe nothing, but my fear would be there's going to be much more restrictions. And there's some folks that are not going to get their shots, and that's their prerogative, but I know, just as an example, going to nationals, no shot. You don't get inside the arena.
Right.
No employees. I mean, no one's inside that event without proving that they have the shots.
Right.
So it's changing who might be at that venue.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. Interesting times we're living in, you know,
Sure.
And so, and that's actually one of the best things about what we do is we know that it is turbulent times for so many people still, and the future is still, you know, uncertain to some degree, and we're able to, for a week at a time, share joy and happiness and fun through pickleball and other wellness type experiences. So that's what I enjoy doing the most, and that's sometimes Sindy has to keep me away from hanging out with the guests so much because I genuinely enjoy meeting people and connecting and building relationships, and sometimes I'll burn myself out by doing that, but I enjoy it, you know. So we just love hosting people, and it's just a lot of fun, so we're very thankful.
So your friend Romy is telling us that in December and January on Southwest, direct flights from Houston. Already probably know this.
Yeah, he's got two groups coming in.
Two groups. That's great.
And he's got an unbelievable following. And you know why? Because we learned he's an amazing instructor, but even a better person. So it's and what we're realizing with our groups, and we're noticing that the connection between the coaches and the pros with their guests, it's very interesting to see the difference, because some of the pros have a deeper connection, almost like a family connection. And then others, it's more, you know, just in and out, it's a vacation, and I'm going to teach for a couple hours and that's it. And so that's where Romy, we've learned, is just, he's so good with people, and we're just thankful that he's a perfect example of, you know, a partnership. He's got an incredible following. He enjoyed Costa Rica, and now he's coming back for 2 more groups. So any pro can do that. Anybody that's got a following that wants to go to Costa Rica with their friends or family or pickleball buddies, they can do it.
A couple of your friends are giving shout outs saying, love this crew. Scotty Golden, Mike Vaughn say hey from the Vonster. It's just, there's a whole list. I'm not going to even say them all, but you guys are already doing what you're planning on doing. It's happening already. So it's good to see.
Yeah, that's amazing.
Scott is coming.
Scott will be there. Yeah. Scott's going to live a little Puravida.
Where is Hunter's Run?
Hunter's Run. That is in Virginia, right?
You just played it, Hunter's Run.
Oh, yeah, that was in Virginia.
No. Last week you played at Hunter's Run.
Hunter's Run?
It's got to be a private community.
All over the place. I can't even keep up with all the facilities. I've met so many people, new facilities. I mean, it's just a perfect example of
the one
community.
that you play with Austin, no?
I don't know. I played tournaments, and I've just met so many people, but and that's, again, what we love about the pickleball community. It's a genuine community, you know. And obviously, everyone's got opinions, as they should, about different subjects, and chainsaw serve this, and you know, other big talking points. And look, everyone's entitled to their own opinion.
Yes.
I just think that at the end of the day, like, just respect each other's opinions. And you can have differences of opinions, but at least at the end of the day, respect the other person's opinion, whether you agree with it or not. So,
Mani, I want to help you a little bit when I can. So Hunter's Run is in Boynton Beach. I thought that would help you remember.
I play so much in Boynton.
That is the one that you played with
Boynton Beach
with Austin.
Hunter. Oh,
yeah,
Susie
Austin
LeBlanc.
and Vaughn.
Susie, yes, that's right. Yeah, that's right. That was.
See, now it's coming to you.
There.
You needed your wife to help you a little bit. That little smack in the head, it works.
Clearly. Yeah, exactly. We had a group of 8. Yeah, Steve Rose was there.
And, your
LeBlanc.
connections with some of the greatest guys that I've met in the state of Florida. You're already connected with all those guys. So life still continued about the connections, the relationships. And Sindy said it best. This is such a community.
What?
Sindy said it earlier in the show, how it connects you with people. It's like, now I have an extended family.
It's so true.
Yeah.
It's Steve Rose.
Steve Rose,
Another
connected with
awesome partnership.
And since we moved to Florida, the Delray Beach, I mean, he's been huge in the sense of just being an amazing connector with good people and great games. And
well, we met you through him.
Yeah, that's Steve. Right. Perfect example, Mike.
Yeah.
I met you through Steve.
Yeah.
I wasn't supposed to be there, but now I know why I was there, was to meet you guys and go to Costa Rica.
There you go. Funny how life works out, huh?
Yeah, God doesn't make any mistakes, my friend.
No.
It's all planned. It's all part of the plan. And you keep saying how blessed you guys are. So are we. So is Jeff. I mean, we're so fortunate that we get to do this thing called pickleball.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Every day. Yeah.
And the very thing about that is be conscious and thankful every day.
Yeah.
That is key.
Yeah.
Yeah. So my good friend, he's a praise and worship leader. He always says he's blessed and highly flavored. And I always love that line. But you're right. You have a choice. You have a choice. Just live in an attitude of gratitude every single day. Every single day.
Oh, that makes such a big change.
Yeah.
And here in our life too, we start doing that a while ago. Like the thing that we're every day we say 5 things that we are thankful for.
That's beautiful.
That's fantastic.
We say out loud to each other.
Sure.
Because I think that is key for life. There, and especially during these times, there are like so many bad things happening.
Sure.
Like having a gratitude focus change your perspective. On life.
Yeah.
So
Jeffrey,
I mean, before we close, I'd be remiss if I didn't mention this. You've talked a lot about family.
Yes.
And your family's going to grow here pretty soon. Tell us.
The family is growing.
Look at this.
Oh boy. Hey, come on now. This is a rated G show.
Congratulations, guys.
So
really, sincerely.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Everything changes now.
We are 7 months in.
Beautiful. Beautiful.
Will that be your
I
first?
think the word is, somebody told me, you leave from being selfish to selfless.
Yeah.
Everything's about the baby now. So it's a wonderful time in your life, and cherish it, love on it. Yeah.
Well, we can certainly see your passion for what you do, and I look forward to seeing your place someday and playing some pickleball down there.
Right.
Thank you so
Coach
much.
Mike will get the experience, but we've been blessed to have you both.
Yeah.
Thank you for the invite. Really appreciate it, and thank you for your time, guys.
Yeah.
Really nice to meeting you both.
Mani and Sindy, you guys are lovely. Congratulations on everything, growth. So I'm just giving you blessings in advance that things are going to continue to explode. The first thing that you guys got to.
Take them. Right here.
Yeah,
Right
take
back
them.
at you.
Thank you very much.
Success to you.
Okay.
Appreciate it.
Guys, have a blessed night. I'll see you soon.
All right.
Nice.
That's right. See you in Costa Rica.
Yes, sir.
Bye,
Bye,
guys.
Bye, guys.
Bye.
Bye.
Coach, obviously another great show.
Great couple.
With
They're
some
so
wonderful
nice.
guests.
He has a great business that's growing. It was really tough on him last year. So I hope that anybody that's watching, anybody that watches it later in the show, reaches out to him or to me to find out information, and we'll continue to support those people. They're lovely folks, and they're young. I think they're in their 30s. Did you know that?
I did not.
Yeah.
Everyone's young compared to you, Coach, right?
I know, but it's okay. I'm happy. I'm very
That's
happy.
wonderful. Well, I'm going to put your information up. If you want to get in touch with Paddle Up Pickleball and Coach Mike.
Yes. Coaching
the
sessions.
information's here.
I just left with Mike Vaughn. We went to a small place in Sebring, Florida. Did a nice clinic for a couple hours. A lot of fun. I did my second coaching session yesterday. That was via the person lived in California, and I knew them from the past, but they couldn't come out here. So we did a video coaching session. We had a ton of fun, and they just couldn't believe the things that they were doing wrong. Sometimes minor changes can change your whole perspective on the game. So hopefully they'll put it into play now.
So, Coach, if you had a group, like today, a dozen folks, maybe it's over here in Naples or it's,
Sure.
In the Orlando area, wherever it is, within reason, would you travel to a group like that?
100%. Yeah. I've been to different states, and, it just, everything gets set up for you. And what happens is you go there, and again, your family gets extended. Anytime they come to Florida, they stay with me. It's same for you, Jeff. When you come over here, you always have a place with us.
Oh,
and yes,
absolutely.
I will go to different places, and happy to. And I have 2 or 3 other people that I work with on a regular basis. If there's more than what's required, usually we try to keep it, to 4 or 8 per coach. And it's just always fun, guaranteed to have a good time. Everyone learns, and they usually want to have us back. So we've been very fortunate. I'm going to continue to do it.
Well, Coach Mike, keep up the great work. We
Great.
appreciate you helping the world of pickleball.
And I
growing
appreciate you,
the game.
Jeffrey.
Well, thank you. And
Stay healthy. I'll see you soon.
Do we have somebody next week that is?
Oh yeah, I don't want to give away next week's
other
person.
side
Is
of
going to
the
be
net?
very exciting. He's an exciting person, a big personality, very well known in pickleball.
Oh, fantastic!
I don't want to ruin it. Thank you, Jeffrey. Have a blessed night. Thank you,
Have
brother.
a good night, everybody.
Okay, bye.